Hi, I'm Jack Schwartz for the Wellness Project. The Persian poet Rumi, a 13th century Sufi Muslim, wrote that every human being should strive in this life to be three things: a lamp, a lifeboat, and a ladder. What does this mean? How might a person be a lamp or a lifeboat? And in what sense might each of us be a ladder? Here's where I land on these questions. A person can be a beacon that attracts others, drawing them near, out of ignorance and into wisdom. And one can radiate light in the midst of darkness, furnishing guidance and hope. A person can be a seaworthy vessel, a kind of ark that offers refuge in violently churning seas rife with hungry predators. One can be a boat that welcomes those who are drowning in troubles and sorrows and who need to climb out of the turbulent waters of life, a safe place for those needing to cling to something sturdy and buoyant. Finally, each of us can become a ladder, a figurative, metaphorical instrument of deliverance, a means of ascendancy from the depths of separation and gloom, and a way of facilitating the upward trajectory of others toward achievement and serenity. Think of Jacob's dream in the Hebrew Bible and how angels are said to have gone both up and down a ladder that spanned the distance between heaven and earth. Each of us can work as that ladder did, serving a higher purpose as a kind of vertical bridge between despair and hope, accomplishment and failure, suffering and blessing. For me, Rumi's perspective is a sound spiritual blueprint for a peaceful, productive, prosperous, and robust society. Clearly, Rumi's spirituality is both fueled and exemplified by the sort of compassion and service that his potent imagery suggests. And I'm sure he would agree with me when I say that the gift of spiritual support benefits the brave, gracious giver every bit as much as it does the grateful recipient. In study after study, medical researchers have concluded that a person who has a spiritual life of some kind is more likely to recover from illness faster and more fully than those who don't. In other words, people who experience a whole range of afflictions, both physical and emotional, tend to heal more quickly and completely when they follow some sort of spiritual code or belief system. It's worth mentioning that these studies do not identify as a cure-all any specific philosophy or faith. No particular religious tradition or theological construct is singled out and specified as a kind of lofty best practice. Accordingly, I would like to take a stab at imagining what a spiritual life might look like when it's operating as it should. Usually, when we ponder the word spirituality, we think of our need to relate to something transcendent, beyond the physical world, bigger than we are, and perhaps well beyond us. Most often, people conceive of a deity or a divine being of some kind. We think, too, of the ultimate source of our lives, of a wellspring, of our core principles, our way of finding hope during a crisis, and our understanding of our own mortality. From my vantage point, a healthy spiritual life is sustained by the four elements of peace, purpose, meaning, and connection. Peace is vital when one is surrounded daily by clamor, commotion, conflict, confusion, and chaos. Periodically, we all need to slow things down, to breathe deeply, and to very intentionally come back to our authentic selves. Purpose is crucial because without a star to steer our ship by, it's easy to feel lost and aimless. Goal setting is inseparable from purpose, whether these goals are long-term, medium range, or one day at a time in nature. Meaning signifies a confidence that being here is no accident, and that unquestionably one's existence has worth. And finally, connection underscores that prolonged aloneness is antithetical to our well-being and our sense of belonging. And that, like it or not, we need each other in this world if we are to be happy and to feel fulfilled. Let's take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, can I choose to find a way to open my life to peace? Can I choose to discover or create my own individual sense of purpose? Can I choose to value who I am and to believe that my life has meaning? Can I choose to learn how to be in healthy relationship with others and to nurture and maintain that connection with the world around me? Will I commit to a spiritual life, one that will improve my health and the health of the world as well? How we worship, indeed whether we worship in any traditional sense, involves an array of highly individual choices. I contend that many paths will bring us to salvation, redemption, serenity, and joy. Some are direct, without false starts or fanfare. Some may be longer, but are more scenic and picturesque. And some can only be described as exhaustingly circuitous. Human beings need to give themselves permission to search and to explore. Thankfully, even the fruitless expeditions and dead ends often help us to grow. Similarly, there are many ways to be spiritual and many fitting places for praise, meditation, prayer, and reflection. The American writer Henry David Thoreau observed that heaven is under our feet as well as over our heads. In other words, heaven is not simply a paradise that awaits our arrival once our earthly tenure has ended, but instead can be imagined as a blissful home in the here and now, one that surrounds us, that fills us, that flows through us each and every day. I'd like to share a poem with you, one that I call Under and Over All Around. The sky is a cathedral, the sea a synagogue, a church a stand of birches, and a pew a sun-baked log. An altar is the riverbank, a shrine for reverent prayers. The pines, basilicas that line a mountain's stone-strewn stairs. A canyon is a catacomb. A meadow is a mosque. The hymn tunes borne by birds at dawn are cricket chants at dusk. The shells washed up on beaches, precious relics everywhere. And feathers, sacred artifacts, soft treasures of the air. Creation's ample blessings fill the earth's communion plate. Monasteries, sanctuaries in their natural state. Each promised land placed by a hand that points toward heaven's gate. Heaven can be anywhere, and blessings reside in every landscape. Let's make certain to look for them as we become lamps, lifeboats, and ladders. May your journey take you to a place that gladdens your heart, a way of life that impels you to a plane where, with every fiber of your being, you can feel that you are at home in every day that we are granted, at home in our own lives and in our own skins. I'm Jack Schwartz for the Wellness Project. May you and life treat each other kindly.